Hey guys, in the previous story, Xiaoyan prepared to step up to meet the challenge from the valley head Tang Zhen. Where previously Xiaoyan was underestimated by the alchemists who were present in the large hall where Tang Zhen held a spiritual strength endurance test for the alchemists who were invited to the Burning Flame Valley. How about the next story? Let's begin. The story continues with Xiaoyan stepping forward to face the challenge posed by Tang Zhen. Xiao Yan slowly stood up. Then he saw the silver flame hanging in the air in the grand hall. He clenched his fist, and a cluster of jade-green fire curled and rose above him. Xiao Yan's current control of the glazed lotus heart flame had reached a level where he could manipulate it at will. At this moment, aside from Tang Zhen, no one had the qualifications to compete with Xiao Yan in terms of fire control. The appearance of the jade-green flame caused some people in the grand hall to frown instantly. Under Xiao Yan's suppression, they could not feel even the slightest bit of temperature emanating from the flame. Someone immediately remarked that a flame with such low temperature might be inferior to some flames formed from Dao Qi. However, as alchemists, they naturally realized that it was impossible for the actual temperature of the flame to be that low. Yet, they all did not understand why Xiao Yan suppressed the flame in his body. Meanwhile, on the other side, Xiao Yan quickly channeled his spiritual power and formed the flame into a jade-green fire lotus. Xiao Yan gently flicked his finger, and the fire lotus slowly spun as it approached the cluster of silver flames in the air. The fire lotus then calmly fused into it before everyone's anxious eyes. The 9 fire dragons immediately sensed something when the jade-green fire lotus entered the silver flame cluster. The silver flames let out a dragon's roar before finally pouncing towards the fire lotus. A cold smile suddenly appeared on the faces of several Grandmaster alchemists when they saw this scene. The mockery in their eyes grew more intense, as if they had predicted the miserable situation that would befall Xiaoyan. However, just as the cold smiles emerged, their expressions suddenly stiffened upon seeing the fire dragons seem fearful under the pressure of the fire lotus. After a while, the 9 fire dragons approached the fire lotus and spun along with its rotation, as if showing that the 9 fire dragons were afraid of the fire lotus and followed its movements. Seeing this, Tang Zhen's expression also became much more serious. There were not many flames in the world that could cause the 9 fire dragons to be so afraid. Furthermore, he was also certain at this moment that the jade-green flame summoned by Xiaoyan was surely some kind of heavenly flame. However, it seemed that there was no heavenly flame in the ranking of heavenly flames that had such a glow. The only one that resembled its color was the green lotus core flame, ranked 19th. However, seeing the not-so-dense green glow, it was obviously not the green lotus core flame. Moreover, even if it was the green lotus core flame, it would not make the 9 lightning flame dragons so frightened. Many eyes did not expect such a thing to happen, including the elder invited from the Pill Tower at this moment. In short, 10 minutes quickly passed in the large and silent hall. Xiaoyan immediately gestured with his hand when the 10 minutes just ended. The fire lotus rushed out without any damage and finally exploded into a cluster of flames that entered Xiaoyan's hand. After that, Xiaoyan asked Tang Zhen if he had passed. Hearing Xiaoyan's question, Tang Zhen immediately congratulated him. He continued by saying that, including Xiaoyan, he had truly gathered 2 people. Tang Zhen's eyes immediately turned towards Elder Chu He and said that he had handled his task satisfactorily as usual. He could find young and outstanding people, like young friend Yang Xiao. In front of him, Elder Chai Ho showed a smile upon hearing Tang Zhen's words. He respectfully said that he was just lucky to be able to meet young friend Yang Xiao, which could be considered his good fortune. After that, Tang Zhen said to everyone that since this pill refining would not be simple, he would assert one thing to everyone: as long as the 2 of them could help him successfully refine the pill, the reward would surely be something that would satisfy them. Of course, they could also ask if the 2 needed something. Xiaoyan's heart immediately pounded upon hearing Tang Zhen's words. He clasped his hands and smiled, then asked if he could know whether the reward included some Qing'e methods or Dao techniques from the Burning Flame Valley. Instantly, upon hearing Xiaoyan's question, Tang Zhen pondered for a moment before finally saying, as long as it's not some secrets from the Burning Flame Valley that cannot be passed on to others, young friend Yan Xiao can mention it. Could he know what young friend Yan Xiao wants? Hearing the question, Xiaoyan's heart pounded and his eyes fixed on Tang Zhen until he finally uttered, Skyfire 3 Mysterious Change. Tang Zhen and the woman in red beside him were shocked when they heard the words, Skyfire 3 Mysterious Change. They immediately frowned upon realizing that Skyfire 3 Mysterious Change was one of the main treasures of the Burning Flame Valley. Although such a secret technique was not useful to some people, it was a very sharp weapon for those who possessed heavenly flames. Everyone in the hall was very surprised by Xiaoyan's request. They did not expect Xiaoyan to ask for so much. Meanwhile, on the other side, Tang Jian remained silent for a moment before slowly shaking his head. He looked at Xiaoyan and said that the Skyfire 3 mysterious change was one of the main treasures of the Burning Flame Valley. According to the rules, it could not be given to outsiders. Even though he was the head of the valley, he could not break the existing rules. Therefore, Xiaoyan had to choose something else as a reward. Xiaoyan felt dejected upon hearing Tang Jian's words, realizing that he had underestimated the importance of the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Xiaoyan pondered whether he should give up on obtaining that technique. After contemplating for a while, Xiaoyan finally said that the Skyfire 3 mysterious change was very important to him. Couldn't Tang Jian make an exception for him? Tang Jian sighed, then waved his hand and said that the Qi methods or Dao techniques from Burning Flame Valley were also extraordinary. Changing Xiaoyan's request to something else would also benefit him. In response, Xiaoyan suddenly asked if this pill refinement was very important to Tang Jian. Tang Jian hesitated for a moment before finally glancing at the woman in red beside him. Slowly, he nodded and said that it was very important. Moreover, this pill must be successfully refined within half a year. He already had plans to ask the elders from the pill tower to refine it if this attempt failed. Xiaoyan gently replied, asking why he didn't go to the people from the pill tower right now. Of course, the reason was that the reward they would ask for would be very high. Then, Xiaoyan asked if he could know how high the success rate would be if Grandmaster Huan and Xiao Yan assisted Tang Jian in the refinement. Tang Jian frowned and said that the maximum success rate was 50%. This pill was a bit different from ordinary pills and would be very difficult to refine. Xiaoyan smiled slightly and finally said that using a heavenly flame to refine the pill could increase the success rate a bit. Therefore, with Xiaoyan's help, the chances of success would increase. Xiaoyan did not try to flatter himself with these words. Instead, he wanted to tell the Valley Master that employing Xiaoyan would definitely not be a mistake. This small chance of success might make this pill refinement exceed the Valley Master's expectations. Hearing this, Tang Jian immediately asked if young friend Yam Xiao was not planning to give up on the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Xiaoyan just smiled, which further confused Tang Jian. Tang Jian pondered for a while before finally nodding and saying that this pill refinement was indeed very important to him. It was even more important than the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Therefore, at this moment, he agreed with Xiaoyan's words. If Xiaoyan could successfully help Tang Jian refine the pill this time, he might give Xiaoyan a chance. If Xiaoyan could obtain it from the elders, then the Skyfire 3 mysterious change would be his. Xiaoyan was overjoyed upon hearing Tang Jian's words. Although Tang Jian did not promise to give him the Skyfire 3 mysterious change, at least there was a chance for Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan immediately clasped his hands and thanked Tang Jian. Tang Jian nodded and sighed before finally speaking to everyone. He said that since there were no more questions, everyone should return to their guest rooms and rest. He then instructed Chai Hu to escort the guests to their respective rooms. After everyone left, the hall once again became quiet, leaving Tang Jian and the woman in red. The woman immediately asked her father if he really planned to give the Skyfire 3 mysterious change to Yan Xiao. Tang Jian sighed and said that Hu surely knew how important this refined pill was to him. Back then, Hu had forcibly merged with the 9 lightning flame dragons, but eventually received a backlash from the flames. Although Hu managed to keep his life, it still left significant residual symptoms. If this continued, Hu's life force would be exhausted within less than a year. The success rate of refining this pill, as stated by Yan Xiao, although this person was young, his bold claims indicated that Yan Xiao did possess some abilities. With his help, the chances of successfully refining the pill would increase significantly. In response, Hu immediately said that the Skyfire 3 mysterious change was the top secret technique of the Burning Flame Valley. Even if her father agreed, it would be very difficult to get it past the Elder Council. Tang Jian sighed again and said that he had conveyed to Yan Xiao that he would give him a chance. As long as Yan Xiao had the ability and met the test requirements, the Elder Council would not have much to say. Besides, Tang Jian was still the Valley Master after all. In short, everyone had gathered, including Grandmaster Huan, Tang Jian, and Xiaoyan. Tang Jian immediately asked Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan if they were ready. They both nodded, and Tang Jian explained that the pill he wanted to refine this time was called the Bodhisattva Flame Pill. It was a high-level 7th grade pill. Tang Jian snapped his fingers and 2 scrolls immediately appeared. He said that these were parts of the pill formula. Each of them would get one. All they needed to do was follow the instructions on the formula during the refinement and perform their tasks well. They both hurriedly accepted the scrolls given by Tang Zhen. After that, they immediately infused their spiritual power into them. After approximately 10 minutes, they opened their eyes and Tang Zhen asked if they had finished reading. Both nodded, then Tang Zhen continued, saying that the refinement of this pill might take a long time, so they both needed to be mentally prepared and not let accidents happen in the middle of the process. After that, Tang Zhen pointed to two different sides and said that if there were no issues, they were welcome to sit. Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan exchanged glances before finally smiling and nodding at each other. After that, their bodies moved and appeared on stone seats on opposite sides. Meanwhile, after arranging everything properly, Tang Zhen's expression gradually turned serious. He waved his sleeve, and one could see a large object flying out from his storage ring, landing heavily on the stone platform. A large bright red cauldron with many erupting volcano images on its walls appeared. Tang Zhen waved his hand, and numerous dense medicinal ingredients continuously flew out from his storage ring. Then, Tang Zhen immediately said that since everyone was ready, they could start the refinement process. Tang Zhen pushed his hands, and silver flames instantly surged into the cauldron. He then flicked his finger, and the floating medicinal ingredients in the air immediately descended into the cauldron, starting the refinement process. Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan quickly focused their minds, and their spiritual power instantly surged, rapidly entering the cauldron under the protection of their own flames. After a considerable amount of time, Tang Zhen said that the refinement of the first raw materials was complete, and he would leave the merging process to them. Grandmaster Huan and Xiaoyan nodded, then followed Tang Zhen's instructions. The process continued for quite some time. Xiaoyan muttered that the first merging step alone had taken nearly 3 hours. This 7th grade pill was indeed extraordinarily complex to refine. Hearing Xiaoyan's mutter, Tang Zhen smiled and said that the refinement of the Bodhisattva flame pill was divided into 8 parts. Xiaoyan was surprised to hear that the pill refinement was divided into 8 portions. In short, with the spiritual power of Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan, the process went smoothly without any difficulties. Time quickly passed, and before they knew it, they had reached the 7th day. All the alchemists on the side of the stone platform looked at Xiaoyan, shaking their heads. Xiaoyan had endured for 7 days, and the seriousness on their faces became more pronounced after seeing Xiaoyan's performance over these 7 days. At this moment, they immediately realized that Xiaoyan should have become a 7th grade alchemist. Meanwhile, on the stone platform, Tang Zhen's eyes glanced at Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan. His expression turned serious, and he immediately said that he had completed the refinement of the medicinal ingredients, and the next merging step would be entrusted to them. Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan nodded, then increased their focus. If the merging failed, this pill refinement would naturally end in failure. If that truly happened, Xiaoyan would have to forget about the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. In short, after 3 hours passed, Xiaoyan sighed in relief as he saw the merging was successful. Time quickly flowed during this merging process. The merging of the medicine by Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan gradually reached its final stage. Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan immediately increased their spiritual power, keeping the flames stable. After a considerable amount of time, the medicinal liquid began to form, causing Tang Zhen to suddenly stand in excitement. He said that the medicinal ingredients had been fully merged, and the next step would be the most crucial, the pill formation. Xiaoyan and Grandmaster Huan nodded, then their hand seals changed immediately. Spiritual power flowed into the cauldron, making everyone tense at that moment. Not long after, an explosion from the pill occurred with energy ripples surging in all directions. Xiaoyan managed to withstand this energy shock, but Grandmaster Huan, who was at his limit, suddenly collapsed unconscious with a mouthful of blood spewing out. Seeing this, Tang Zhen instantly turned pale and muttered if he would fail. On the other side, Xiaoyan was truly stunned as he looked at the unconscious Grandmaster Huan. Xiaoyan quickly recovered and shifted his gaze to the medicine cauldron. If this pill refinement failed, he could only forget about the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Xiaoyan muttered whether all of his efforts would be in vain at this last moment. Xiaoyan did not want to give up and immediately asked Tang Zhen if he could continue refining the pill. Tang Zhen was surprised, then asked if Yan Xiao could refine the Bodhisattva flame pill on his own. Responding to that, Xiaoyan shook his head and said that if they continue with the refinement, there might still be a chance for success. But if they gave up now, they would fail completely. Tang Zhen's heart was slightly shaken when he felt the burning and intense gaze from Xiaoyan. His eyes immediately turned to the red-green light emanating from within the cauldron. After a moment of hesitation, Tang Zhen finally said that since Yan Xiao had said such a thing, he could proceed. No one would blame Yam Xiao, even if it ended in failure. Xiaoyan smiled and nodded, and then the seal in his hands changed immediately, with spiritual power surging rapidly. Spiritual power continued to surge powerfully as time passed. At this moment, Xiaoyan was truly exhausted, his body trembling as he faced the backlash from the forming medicine. After quite some time, Tang Zhen suddenly realized something. The scene before Tang Zhen was familiar to him. He knew this was the beginning of pill formation. His heartbeat suddenly quickened, and an excited expression unconsciously appeared on his face. He never thought that Xiaoyan would be able to rely on his own abilities to complete the final step. After a while, Tang Zhen, who was sitting cross-legged on the stone platform, suddenly opened his eyes. His gaze revealed wild joy as he looked at the center of the stone platform. The aroma of the pill suddenly spread from the medicine cauldron, causing him to be genuinely surprised. Not long after, dark clouds suddenly appeared in the sky without warning. As Tang Zhen opened his eyes, the dark clouds formed silver serpents flowing everywhere, producing shocking sounds. Meanwhile, Xiaoyan saw the pill spinning inside the medicine cauldron, and a smile unconsciously appeared on his pale face. Xiaoyan's eyelids slowly closed and fatigue spread from his soul, causing Xiaoyan to feel slightly dizzy. Seeing Xiaoyan's pale face, Tang Zhen woke up and then said that mere thanks would not be enough to express the great justice owed to Xiaoyan. He asked Xiaoyan to rest for a while and let him handle the pill lightning. In response, the panting Xiaoyan immediately requested Tang Zhen to let him handle the pill lightning. Tang Zhen was instantly surprised upon hearing Xiaoyan's words and immediately asked how Yam Xiao could handle the pill lightning in his current condition. Xiaoyan sighed and then asked Tang Zhen to stay calm. Xiaoyan waved his hand and a silver earth demon puppet immediately appeared. He said that Xiaoyan's earth demon puppet still needed the pill lightning to refine its body. Xiaoyan smiled and continued, saying that the pill lightning was very useful for him. Therefore, he requested Tang Zhen not to take it from him. Tang Zhen was surprised when he saw the earth demon puppet that had just appeared. With his vision, Tang Zhen could naturally identify the earth demon puppet at a glance. After that, Tang Zhen said that since young friend Yam Xiao insisted, he would let the puppet face the pill lightning. Yam Xiao could voice any concerns if anything happened later, and Tang Zhen would help him immediately. Xiaoyan smiled and nodded. Then his eyes immediately looked up at the sky, asking the earth demon puppet to go. As soon as the command was heard, the earth demon puppet's feet stomped hard on the ground, and its body soared like a rocket, stopping in the air. Everyone present was instantly surprised upon seeing the puppet released by Xiaoyan. They immediately realized that the pill lightning formed by a high-level 7th grade pill was not child's play. Even a 5-star Duzong expert could barely block it. They wondered if the puppet could withstand the pill lightning. Amidst the whispers, an explosion suddenly occurred as the thunderbolt shot out and struck the earth demon puppet. The earth demon puppet's body was thrown about 10 meters before it managed to stabilize. At this moment, countless silver bolts of lightning flashed, repeatedly entering the earth demon puppet's body. It returned to its original position, making Xiaoyan unconsciously reveal a smile. A look of surprise unconsciously appeared in Tang Zhen's eyes as he saw the puppet released by Xiaoyan, truly absorbing the lightning. After quite some time, the astonishment in Tang Zhen's eyes grew as he saw Xiaoyan's puppet successfully withstand the continuous lightning strikes. Tang Zhen sighed and muttered that it was truly unexpected for Yam Xiao to handle the pill lightning relying solely on the puppet. This young man continually amazed him. As he murmured, a powerful explosion suddenly occurred, causing the earth demon puppet to be thrown back, hitting the arena. The thick, dark clouds in the sky gradually stopped swirling after emitting a final strong silver lightning bolt. The light pierced through the clouds and the earth demon puppet rose, then shot into the sky. Tang Zhen, filled with astonishment, quickly recovered and approached Xiaoyan to check on his condition. Xiaoyan's expression was as pale as a cloth. He then waved his hand and the earth demon puppet landed beside Xiaoyan on the stone platform. After that, Xiaoyan told Tang Zhen that he was fine. Xiaoyan gently sighed, and just as he was about to store the earth demon puppet in his storage ring, he accidentally glanced at the puppet's eyes filled with a faint golden color. Xiaoyan's heart immediately became somewhat excited as his eyes locked onto the golden thread's glow. Xiaoyan thought he should consider a way to let the earth demon puppet absorb the pill lightning in the future. By doing so, the earth demon puppet could advance to the sky stage, which would greatly benefit Xiaoyan. Shortly after, Tang Zhen expressed his gratitude to Xiaoyan, saying that he would remember Xiaoyan's help. Xiaoyan smiled amidst the immense fatigue and weakness suddenly sweeping through his soul. The area in front of Xiaoyan gradually darkened, causing him to collapse immediately. In short, Xiaoyan awoke from his unconscious state, surprised to find himself lying on a soft bed. Then a familiar voice was heard saying that Xiaoyan had been unconscious for 3 days. Xiaoyan's eyes immediately glanced at the black ring on his finger, and he unconsciously laughed. Xiaoyan immediately spoke to Tianhu Zunji, saying it had been a long time since they last met, inquiring about Tianhu Zunji's condition. Responding to Xiaoyan's question, Tianhu Zunji immediately said that he could be considered well, thanks to Xiaoyan. In the heavenly mountain blood pool, Tianhu Zunji's spirit was nourished, gaining several benefits. However, he could not reveal himself because a Daozun expert was always around Xiaoyan. Xiaoyan unconsciously was surprised upon hearing Tianhu Zunji's words and immediately asked if Tianhu Zunji's strength had been restored to the Daozun class. In response, Tianhu Zunji said that such a thing couldn't be so easy. Did Xiaoyan really think it was easy to restore Daozun class strength? If Tianhu Zunji did not get a suitable body, he might never restore his Daozun strength. Xiaoyan then told Tianhu Zunji not to worry, as Xiaoyan would help solve the problem of refining a body for Tianhu Zunji as soon as possible. After that, Xiaoyan thought for a while, then closed his eyes, and his spiritual power immediately entered the dark black ring left by Yao Lao. He quickly searched for the vast sea of medicinal formulas, needing to find a formula to help Tianhu Zunji refine a body. After 2 hours, Xiaoyan finally opened his tightly shut eyes and clenched his fist, having found the Yin-Yang Life Soul Pill. This mid-tier 7th grade pill had the mysterious effect of merging souls and restoring life. Xiaoyan immediately memorized the medicinal formula and the necessary steps and processes. After chatting briefly with Tianhu Zunji in his mind, Xiaoyan jumped from his bed and slightly moved his body. Then he immediately walked out of the room because he had helped Tang Zhen refine the Bodhisattva flame pill. It should be time to solve the matter of the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. As soon as he opened the door, Xiaoyan was surprised to see a beautiful figure before him. Tang Ho-er immediately asked if Xiaoyan had fully recovered. Xiaoyan smiled and nodded, then cupped his hands and greeted Miss Tang. Seeing Xiaoyan's demeanor, Ho-er immediately waved her hand, saying not to call her Miss Tang. If Yan Xiao didn't mind, he could call her Ho-er. Yan Xiao could be considered Ho-er's savior, so there was no need for Yan Xiao to be so distant. Xiaoyan smiled, and Ho-er continued, saying that Yan Xiao had been unconscious for 5 days. Her father ordered her to bring Yan Xiao to him once he woke up. Xiaoyan smiled and replied that if that was the case, he would trouble Miss Ho-er. Finally, they walked toward the hall where Tang Zhen was. On the way, Ho-er asked why Yan Xiao was interested in the Skyfire 3 mysterious change from Burning Flame Valley. Xiaoyan was surprised by the question and hesitated for a moment before saying that the Skyfire 3 mysterious change was very suitable for him to train. Ho-er nodded and then said she just wanted to remind Yan Xiao that it wouldn't be easy to obtain the Skyfire 3 mysterious change. Even though her father was the head of the valley, he could not make decisions on such matters. After all, the inner part of Burning Flame Valley had a council of elders. These old men were not easy to deal with. Xiaoyan slightly nodded upon hearing this, thinking that this endeavor would not be easy. In short, Xiaoyan finally entered the Great Hall, led by Tang Ho-er. At this moment, the atmosphere inside the hall was somewhat oppressive. There were quite a few fully armed disciples of Burning Flame Valley around the Great Hall, making the atmosphere far more intimidating. Xiaoyan's eyes quickly scanned the hall upon entering and saw Tang Zhen sitting in the leader's chair. However, he noticed 2 white-haired, red-robed elders flanking Tang Zhen. Additionally, around 10 elderly men sat below these 2 white-haired elders, one of whom was Elder Chai Ho. Xiaoyan's expression remained unchanged in the face of the oppressive atmosphere in the Great Hall and the many focused gazes on him. Xiaoyan slowly stepped forward, cupped his hands towards Tang Zhen in the leader's chair, and spoke in a deep voice, respectfully saying that Yan Xiao had come to greet Valley Chief Tang.